fifth one. Estranged from his daughter in the third one. Lost character in Renee in the eighth one. So the evolution of the character is just how much he's lost, which allowed us to get to season 9, where now he's got nothing. He's just angry, which, in all fairness, is kind of cool to watch. But the evolution of the character is really based on loss and what he's had to sacrifice.
Thank you.
All right, hey, sorry. This is Ashton. Again, I wanted to thank you for coming here. And also, I wanted to know, 24 has already been on its cutting edge in terms of political storylines. Does that affect you guys when you guys are making the show? Like, you're thinking, okay, how we can improve, the political do you think of the political ramifications as actors and directors and writers?
And it's a really interesting question. We don't consider the political ramifications outside of the context of our show. It's a show. We're not advocating torture. We're not advocating anything. What we're doing, and this is really a product, and this is, again, kind of one of those things that just happened with 24. We made 24 6 months before the terrible events of 9/11. When this show was born out of the imagination of Joel Surnow and Bob Cochran, and they came up with the guy as a terrorist combatant because they couldn't figure out another job why a guy would stay up for 24 hours. I mean, it was literally that simple. And then all of a sudden, the terrible events of 9/11 happened. And then, second year, Howard Gordon starts writing about Chinese espionage. Well, damn if that doesn't happen. And then we start dealing with chemical weapons, and again, out of the imagination. 6 months later, guy gets busted in Vancouver coming over with 600 pounds of anthrax. So there was this uncanny thing that was happening where our writers would imagine the worst scenario, and then that scenario would come true. And then by season 7 or 8, they started going, well, maybe we won't guess, we'll just take something out of the newspaper. And season 9 was specifically that. 2 very hot topics, which was drone warfare, and how are you going to address that? And we'll have a discussion in the context of our show. Some are for it, some are against it. And we'll have that discussion in our show, and then an audience can take that as they will. And the other discussion was like kind of Edward Snowden character. Is it in fact espionage, or is it patriotism to inform on your government about what they're in fact doing? Again, we don't advocate for or against. We have the discussion within the context of our show. So the political backdrop of our show, I guess in a very long-winded way, is very important to our storytellers.
Hello, sir.
He's so bored now. Where's my seat?
Hi, I'm The Verge. I'm actually here to ask one of my friend's questions because he's like over there. What happened to the president after the season finale?
There were no other shows.
We can't tell you that. I don't quite know how to answer that, but I would expect that he's mourning the loss of his daughter. And I think in our heads, he's certainly resigned given his illness, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you.
Now I feel like I'm probably gone.
Hi, my name is Derek. You probably shoot a gun, 1,000 times over the course of the entire series. Which weapon was your favorite to use and why?
6 Sauer 337.
There's some fans of that gun.
Clearly we don't use real bullets. what we do use are called full loads, and they are a round that has the full load of gunpowder, but without the lead projectile. The lead projectile obviously is a huge component of a round, and that's what makes most guns work. The 337 that I work with, the 6-hour, is one of the few guns that can actually fire the round without the lead projectile that won't jam. One of my favorite things I have, this is awful.
Go ahead, there's hardly anyone here.
Other actors will get different weapons, and now they'll blow a scene because they'll only get 2 rounds out and they won't fire their clip properly, whatever, and they start thinking it's them. And I will never tell them that it's not them. I will let them believe that it's them. And, like somehow I have some magic way of holding a gun that it just works. It's not true. I don't.
But then,
I don't own a gun, I don't have a gun, but this thing works, and it's my favorite because of that.
but then Yvonne caught on, and she was like, I want his gun.
Well, because it was the middle of the night, and so I did finally cop to it. It was the middle of the night, and she kept blowing the tape because her gun would misfire about halfway through a clip. And I said, here, take mine. Like we were sharing a cigarette. And she did, and she got through the tape. She went, oh my God. She was so angry with me. It's like, why doesn't everybody have one of these? That's the reason why it's my favorite weapon, and that was my favorite weapon.
Good question.
Hi. First of all, I want to say, Jack, you did an excellent job on Metal Gear Solid 5.
Thank you very much.
I've been watching 24 since I was in 4th grade. I had no idea, 13 years from now, I'd be meeting Jack Bauer in real life and standing in the same room as him. Sure. I want to ask, when you and the writers are making the story, what is more important to you? Creating a story that's suspenseful while the viewer is watching it on TV, or creating a story that people want to watch over and over again?
Well, it's a great question for the writers. I'm not actually involved in that stage, but I think personally, what's more important is creating a story that's suspenseful. Whether you watch it over and over again is really not of interest to me. I want to engage you in the very first time you watch it. That's what matters to me the most. So I would have to say the first. What matters, to me at least, is creating something that's going to leave an impression that you will actually take something away from.
Thank you.
Real quick question. Do you mind giving me a damn it? Huge damn it, please.
It's so hard to do it just... Damn it! Damn it, John, stop pushing me!
John, Steve, nice to meet you.
Cheers.
I've seen Keith, your career's been phenomenal. Thank you for coming today, both of you. Quick question for you. My wife and I were talking about your Rat Pack era earlier today. If you were to make another 24, for the two of you, who would you like to be a co-star?
Want to be a co-star if we did another time. We could do the Brad.
I have to tell you, we had such an extraordinary cast this year. So it would be hard to pick. I mean, there's so many fantastic actors out there. We were having a discussion last night. Howard and John and I had dinner last night, and we hadn't seen Howard, or I haven't seen Howard since since I got back, which was 2 weeks ago, from the UK. You know, we were talking about our favorite actors. Mine doesn't work very much anymore, but Gene Hackman, I think, is one of the greatest actors I've ever lived, and there's nobody like him. So, my dream fantasy would have been to work with someone like that. But there's so many fantastic actors out there in the world, and the people that worked with us this season were extraordinary. Everybody from Michael Wincott to Benjamin Bratt to Yvonne, obviously Mary Lynn, Kim Rayburn.
Michael.
Just extraordinary actors. So I think one of the nice things and one of the hard things about 24 is there is a real revolving door with actors. Because we kill so many of us. But you do get the opportunity to work with so many different people, and it just always amazes me how many kind of really special and talented people there are out there. 24 has been a great education for me with regards to that. So I can't specifically pick a cast for you, but the dream for me would have been to work with someone like Gene Hackman, or Gene Hackman.
We have time for one more question.
All right, make it good.
Oh, it's gonna be.
I like this guy already.
Kiefer, I love you on 24. 24 to me, to my heart, is the best show that's ever been on TV ever. And my question is to you, John. Since the passing of Tony Scott, sad, there was thoughts of him directing the 24 movie. Now, if you guys want to bring back Jack, since you did leave him alive at the end of this past season, will you be directing?
Oh, if there's a movie?
Yes.
Oh, it's hard to talk about that, quite honestly, especially since the TV world, everyone's got to understand, the TV world and the future world are two completely different worlds. Even if you're talking Fox television and Fox movies, they are very different. I think we're still talking about the movie, it's still potentially out there, so that's good news. That's really down the road.
But we'd love to do it.
I'd love to.